Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors. Get all your hound hunting needs at conkeys.com. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game. Need reliable housing for your animals? Animal Housing Solutions in Mayo, Florida builds custom coops, kennels, and shelters that are strong, durable, and designed with your animal's comfort in mind. Whether you need a large-scale kennel or a small custom chicken coop, they've got you covered. Quality craftsmanship, great service, and solutions built to last. That's the Animal Housing Solution promise. Check them out at Animal Housing Solutions on Facebook. Animal Housing Solutions, where your animals come first. Your dogs deserve the very best, and that's exactly what Elite Nutrition Canine Products delivers. Packed with premium ingredients and backed by science, their formulas are designed to boost energy, support joint health, and keep coats shiny and strong. Whether you've got a working dog, a hunting partner, or just a loyal best friend, Elite Nutrition gives them the fuel they need to thrive. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose the nutrition your dog deserves. Find Elite Nutrition Canine Products today and give your dog the Elite Edge. Go to shopeliteglobal.com and use the code TREE10 on your next purchase.
You know, my grandpa had them and had walker dogs, and we didn't have no cows then. It was just red foxes. Well, when the cows started showing up and moving in here, they would just trail and trail and trail. They didn't want to get up on them. So I kept hearing about these Julys, and I'd seen them. So I went to Mr. Seaman Rayfield, and I bought a pair of July pups, and his buddy Dallas Smith. I bought a 2-year-old July female from her when I was 17 years old, and that's where I got started.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
50 years ago.
50 years ago.
Yeah. Both of the pups was red and white spotted, and the female was snow white.
Okay. Interesting. Now, I find the variety of color within July is pretty interesting, especially compared to a lot of the other foxhound breeds, which just typically look, tricolor or red and white.
Well, pretty much in the July world, if you can imagine the color, they've probably got
the few I've seen, I would say so.
You know, it's just like a rainbow, and you might have a off-colored pup that comes from 4 or 5 generations back, maybe.
Yeah, I believe it.
But like I said, they're rainbow colors, glass-eyed. They're a little more one-manish type dogs than the rest of your hounds are.
Okay.
Which that makes them better to come home, and I still run on the outside, so mine's got to come home.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say run on the outside, you're talking like fox pens, right?
No, I'm talking about out in the wild.
Well, sorry. You mean outside of the fox pen, not inside of.
Yeah.
So inside would be inside of a fox pen.
Right. I live in a place here where if you pull up to my house, there's probably going to be 8 or 10 dogs playing loose out there in the yard.
Okay, that's nice.
You know, I start my pups when they're about 4 months old. I turn them out of the pen. I got some gray foxes here around the house.
Yeah.
Won't be long till they'll be running in. Once you can tell they've had some running under their toenails, and I put them up and start hauling them around.
There you go.
I mean, really, there ain't much training to one. They train themselves more or less.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you do is give them the proper care, and kind of protect them once in a while, because if you got a good one, he'll run. He'll just keep going till he hurts himself.
Yeah.
It's not unusual to go down there to the fox pen. Oh, in 6 hours, dog can cover 35 miles.
Wow. That's a lot of ground.
It is, and you probably don't realize how many times they've upended themselves or run into something, or you never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not standing there next to them.
Yeah, it's 5 or 6 hours. They take a lot of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Of course, I've had several buddies through the years. I was fortunate enough. Whenever I got started, I had 3 older guys that really, really kind of took me under their wing,
mm-hmm.
and helped me out. It was Seaman Rayfield, Don Dubose from Florida, and Jerry Swafford from Arkansas.
Okay.
They really helped me out a lot, because they knew, of course, they'd had the hounds for about the 50 years like I have now, so I could go back another 50 years and take their experience and their knowledge and kind of store it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think the world of all three of them old fellas for sure.
Exactly. Having good mentors goes a long way when running hounds. I've looked back and I'm the same way. I've got some great guys that have helped me along and have taught me a lot.
Me too. And they'll tell you something. You know how you are when you're a kid. You think, and then 4 or 5 years down the road, you see it come true.
Yeah.
And you think, they know what they're talking about.
That's for sure.
And then, I've got a few buddies that, one and really in particular that we've been friends since we was all probably 20 years old, probably 45 years, And he's had July Hounds probably longer than I have. That's what he started out was when he was a kid.
Okay.
But his wife, he's probably the winningest July man in history that I know of.
Yeah.
As far as he's won, open hunts, July hunts, he just won all over the country.
And who's that?
Whitey Turner.
Okay.
He's I said of course me and him have been buddies. We switched dogs backwards and forth and try to tell one another where we made our mistakes and argue with one another. Me and him can change it. Me and him can share opinions and not be mad at one another.
Yeah, that's also something very important to have.
It is. Because I'll ask him, what do you think? He said, well, here's what I think, but you're probably going to disagree. And I said, well, maybe and maybe not. You never know.
But it makes you think. It makes you, challenges what you think.
If one of us got maybe a cross that we're hunting for and we can't find, or maybe we want somebody else's input on it, he means, we discuss a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And he's running a lot of my bloodline, and I run a lot of his,
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I don't care who bred the dog, who raised the dog. If he's a good one, he's a good one,
Yep.
Don't let jealousy get in your way of making a good cross.
Yeah. It's hurt a lot of breeds in the past. And I'm sure it will in the future too.
It ain't the dog's fault who owns him.
Yeah.
Then something that them 3 older guys told me when I was a kid. And it thing's true, and if you think about it, it is true. They say, don't be bragging on your dog too much. If he's good enough, he'll do that for himself.
Yeah.
He said, they told me, if you get bragging on him a lot, maybe he's not quite as good as you think he is. Said somebody's going to show up on your doorstep fast and hunt.
Yep.
Then what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
If he can't represent himself, don't be a bragging him up. Myself, I'm still a little old fashioned. I like, I'll take just a touch less foot speed as long as they got a good nose, endurance, and head full of sense.
Okay.
I don't like mine quitting come in on me. I just don't.
Yeah. Now I don't know much about running dogs, but is grit something you breed for? Or?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say most of them does.
Gotcha.
Some of the old timers, they go out and turn. When I was a kid, we'd turn loose at 8:00 at night on a red fox. And if they got him jumped, you still want them son of guns running him at 8:00 the next morning. That's 12 hours of beating herself up.
Yeah.
And
they weren't too concerned with actually catching the fox, huh?
No. Well, no matter of fact, they didn't want to catch that fox. If he's a good running fox, no. If it's a good running fox, no. Them old timers didn't want it caught. They did. You dang sure better not get caught too.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. We got the fox pen down here at Eminence that I take care of. It's 500 acres, and we don't. If it was up to me, we wouldn't even catch a coyote in there.
Okay.
I don't. That's not what. On the fox pen, you go to listen and watch.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really want one call.
Makes sense.
And really, as good as these foxes and cows are taken care of in the pen, they've got a better life in there than they do on the outside. They don't have to worry about getting shot at or run over
Yeah.
or none of that stuff.
And get fed, I'm sure.
Yeah, 3 times a week. And they get ivermectin, on their feed once a month. They're slick and pretty.
Yeah.
And once in a while, you'll have one that gets pretty friendly. You can get in 15, 20 foot of them.
Jeez. That's crazy. That's something I've never done. I've never been to a fox pen.
They got a lot of them. This one's 500 acres. It's really rough. There's a lot of hills and it's really thick brush.
Mm-hmm.
And I live right here in the Missouri Ozarks.
Okay.
And one has to breed on a dog is a good foot. If they don't have a good foot, they can't stay on their feet.
Yeah. Especially in that rough terrain.
Yeah, it does. Of course, everybody likes a good mouth. You want to be able to pick your dog. Some of them you can, some of them you can't.
Now you say a good mouth. What's a good mouth to you? Like a chop mouth, ball mouth? I don't know much about running dogs, so.
Well, a good mouth to me is one that I can pick out of a bunch.
Okay.
It can be a small mouth, it can be a high clear mouth, it can be a coarse mouth. Just one that stands out of a group.
Gotcha.
I'm not really particular what the mouth is as long as I can tell it from the rest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to tell you other than practice.
Well, before we get too far, why don't you introduce yourself, Mr. Charlie?
Do what?
I said, why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Charlie Walker from Salem, Missouri, between Salem and Minden.
Okay.
Like I said, I've had the July dogs. Got my first one when I was 17. I'm 67 now. I've still got dogs that goes back to the original ones that I got.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And as far as me, I don't have a particular color. I've got them anywhere from white to snow black or to cold black.
Okay.
And everything in between.
Interesting.
Certain people like a white dog. Certain people like a red dog. I've even got 4 blue leopards right now.
Okay. Well, I guess then I got leopard hounds, and that's kind of what got me interested. I've been told, I don't know where, but I've been told that Julys were incorporated into the breed through some point in time. And especially if you look at some Julys and you look at some of the leopards of today, and I'm like, you can definitely see that influence.
There is a semblance there, isn't there?
Yeah. So I would definitely agree with that. I mean, like I said, I don't know where it was added in or when, but there's definitely some resemblance there.
There is. And you look at the Goodman dogs, the breed of Goodman dogs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of resemblance with some of them because they've got the blue leopard in the backside too.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Used to, this is before my time, like I said, the Julys come here as Irish Foxhounds. They come to Maryland. And then a pair of them got transferred to a buddy in Georgia in the 1850s, I think.
Okay.
They're pups. And, of course, back then, there's long-haired and shaggy and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
And the fella that got them, they were so ugly, he thought that he sent them with his, it still had, like slave labor. Back then, sent them with one of his slaves on the far end of the plantation. And then the next thing you know, them two was out running everything they had, so they had a big get-together. That's when July and Mary become famous. July, the male dog, that's what they actually decided to name the July breed after.
Okay. So the whole breed is named after one individual.
Right. Well, that was his name. They arrived in Georgia in July.
Okay.
So July and her Mary.
That's interesting.
And they bred several females to July, and Mary come in heat when she was about 2 years old. And they put her in the loft and left the king too long to hungry.
Ooh.
So there never was no pups at her.
So
anyway,
it boiled down to his pups, huh?
Right. And then the man that had them at the time, located some more Maryland dogs. We called them that time, Irish Fox, and he got every one of them he could find to stay with that breed. And as it progressed along, they had what they called the inner circle down there in Georgia, mainly. Some of the old timers got together and they would not make a cross unless they all agreed on it.
Okay.
But they would not let nobody outside that circle have any of it. And that's what they call the old South inner circle breeding, which it's about all gone now. Probably ain't 20 what they'd call the old South breeding left in the United States, maybe.
Yeah.
They've got crossed out with the other Julys and stuff, which most all of them goes back. If you don't follow them back far enough, they'll all go back to the same stuff.
That would make sense, yeah.
The other, I don't know, and probably the three most impressive male dogs that I ever watched work in my 50 years is probably Turner's High Country, Lanham's Gray Boy, and Patterson's Klansman. Was probably three most dominating male dogs I've ever seen, and a lot of females bred to all three of them.
What made those three the most dominant, the most impressive?
Well, to me, they was complete hounds. All three of them would outrun you in a 3-hour hunt, and all three of them was tough enough to outrun you in a 3-day hunt.
Okay.
All three of them reproduced really well. I'm going to say probably High Country was maybe the best producer of the bunch. Klansman was, Gray Boy was too. I'm going to say his percentage, probably High Country had the best percentage rate. Of course, that's just my opinion too. The people disagree with me, and they got the right. And there ain't no really proving who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah. No, especially when it comes to what's the best dog. That is strictly an opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and here's the deal. Maybe I've got one here that's got a little fault that I can't deal with, but it don't bother you, and you get along fine with him.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa. To me, if that hound suits you, it ain't none of my business how good he is.
Yeah.
If he does what you want him to do, you're the one feeding him. You're the one taking care of him. If he suits you, then hey, there you go.
Yep.
And I don't know the July people are as a whole that I found out are more willing to help one another out. I don't believe there's quite as much jealousy there as there is in some other breeds.
Okay.
The main thing is there isn't enough of us to have any jealousy, because if you get put out with all the rest of them, now you're in trouble. You can't get nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to try to get along.
Well, that's good.
And I've got my youngest girl is crazy about the dog, still is. And I've got a grandson that's crazy about him. I don't know if they'll carry it on or not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some of the old stories said around. I used to love when I sat around. I was a kid listening to the old timers, especially when I get down south, because I couldn't half understand them. And boy, they really get my attention.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I say, I can go back and I'm trying to think of a good story, but I don't want to tell a story that's going to down somebody else either.
No, I understand.
Like I said, there's several people. Chuck Allen is another July breeder. Been out there for years. Scott Lanham, and now his boys take it up. J.R. Lanham. They've won a lot, and they've had them for years. Howard Owens and his boy Lowell, they've had them for years. And like I said, I don't know what all else to tell you really.
Now you said
maybe you shoot me some ideas.
Yeah. So you said you help manage a fox pen. So Do you run any sort of field trials or anything like that?
Yes, yes, they have probably they have 1 day 5 hour hunts, 2 day hunts, 3 day hunts down there. We're having a 1 day this coming Saturday.
Okay. You get
Uh,
you putting anything in?
my wife is. I wasn't gonna run nothing. So she decided she gonna run her 2 dogs. I said, have at it.
Nice.
So she's gonna run her 2 dogs. They're expecting about 200 dogs down there.
Very cool. That's a lot of dogs.
It is, and it'll be a combination. I mean, it's open to all breeds.
Okay.
Uh, you know. Uh,
Now, what do you think sets the July apart from like a running walker? Because most of the time, if I've seen running dogs or talked to running dog people, they have running walkers.
well, there's just the Walker dogs have got the July breed outnumbered probably 100 to 1
Hmm.
or more, or
Yeah.
maybe 1,000 to 1. But they're easier to get a hold of. There more people has them. Uh, to me, the July dogs are a little racier made dogs. They're a little lighter made dogs. Uh, they seem to run their game a little more with their heads up.
Okay.
Uh, I'm not going to say they're any better. They just suit me better.
Yeah.
Uh, and I've seen some awful good Walker dogs, and I've had Walker dogs, and I'll still have one if he suits me. The biggest problem I had with the Walker dogs is not wanting to come home, running outside the pen.
Okay.
They're too friendly, and they want to lay up here or lay up there, and usually when somebody calls you to come and get one, it's not like you've got all day to do it. You're right in the middle of something or getting ready to go somewhere when you get the call.
Yeah.
So I just, for years, I'm retired now, but when I was working, I'd go back here and turn loose all 5 or 6 dogs back behind the house, probably 3 or 4 or 5 miles. Where I got tired, thinking I need to go home and go to bed so I can get up and go to work in the morning. I got home from work that evening, they'd all be laying here in the yard. That's
Okay.
what I like. I say it's harder to get into the July business because there's less of them.
Yeah.
There's just a lot less of them.
Hmm.
Now, you see a lot of crossbred dogs out there nowadays that you pick up a pedigree and look at it, and there's a lot of crossbred Walker Julys that cross them.
Okay.
A half breed, we call half breed, which would be a half July, half Walker, half something else, whatever. They make pretty damn good dogs.
Yeah.
Of course, it's what they call the hybrid outcross.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know. I tell you one on Whitey Turner's. I was with a hunt down there, and the second day that high country dog was this young, and he come into it and he said front leg down. We thought he'd destroyed his shoulder, and me and Whitey both looked at him, couldn't figure nothing wrong. I couldn't figure out what was wrong, and got up next morning, went to the kennel. He was up on all fours, just like nothing ever went wrong. And some gun went on, and ended up winning the hunt.
Jeez.
And we thought he was crippled the night before.
Yeah.
You know? But he was one of them type of dogs. I don't know if Whitey ever seen him to do a job that he didn't get done.
Hmm.
He just one of them. He just one of them.
Yeah.
Like I say, the main thing, I've got to meet a lot of people that I wouldn't have never met if I hadn't been in him.
Oh, that's one of the best parts about it.
It is. I've got friends all from Canada to Gulf Coast, from the East Coast. That, I wouldn't have known if I hadn't enjoyed doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Now, what's the best dog you think you've ever owned?
The best one was probably a female I called Rita.
Okay. What made Rita so great?
She was consistent. Every time you set her down, she done the same thing. I run her in 16 hunts. I never did win one with her. I run her in 16 hunts, but she placed 13 out of 6.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter where you set her down. She done the same thing. It didn't, she didn't do anything to aggravate me. And the only problem with her, I raised 4 different litters of pups out of her, and never did get one out of her as good as she was.
Yeah.
So she wasn't the producer that I was wanting her to be.
Unfortunately, that's
So,
the way it works out sometimes. The best dogs don't reproduce, and then you
that
have
is true.
mediocre dogs that reproduce phenomenally.
True. And most people won't admit to that, but I mean, the truth is the truth.
Yep.
Now, probably the best producing dog I ever owned myself was a dog I called White Eyed Jim. He was a blue leopard dog with white eyes. And that was Rita's daddy.
Okay.
Now, he did really reproduce good. But he's another one of them that comes from Seaman Rayfield that got me started, too.
Okay.
I say I was lucky enough, 3 or 4 of them older fellas kind of took me under the wing and they kind of watched out for me, helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
All 3 of them's dead on now, has been for several years. But you still think about them all the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Now, you say you started a lot of pups on Gray Fox.
Right.
What all do you actually run?
Anything gets in front of them. I do here on the running out in the wild. I run of the night.
Yeah.
That will not bothering nobody, Of course, I run back in there where there is no people lives at. I don't want to bother nobody. If they, I don't want my dog to run through their yard and waking them and their dogs up going fit. I do a lot of running of the night time.
Yeah.
And as long as they're running something, making it sound good, I'm good with it.
Okay.
We got a lot of guys down here that strictly want their dogs run coyotes in the daylight. So that's what they enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And, a lot of them that way. And then there's certain guys, there's a few hunters left around the nighttime don't want the dogs run nothing but a fox because they can sit in one spot and never listen all night, or never move and listen all night.
Yeah.
See, a fox will just run a certain area. A coyote, he's already end up 20 miles from where he jumps.
Yeah. So I live in like Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, kind of where it comes together, and like mounted fox hunting is really big around me.
Okay.
We
So yeah, basically you're probably where the July dogs actually originated from up there then.
Oh, it's big fox hunt country, like and it has been since the settlers came here in the early days. They brought it from England with them, and the whole they wear their fancy coats and ride around, and so.
Now we've got a few of them here that does that.
Yeah.
A group of them here that does. I don't myself,
Yeah.
But no, most of the fox, what we call fox hunting around here, you get there and build you up a far and sit right down there and have a dog won't run under the fox, he'll get it jumped, and you sit right there around that far, and they might be going 10, 15 minutes out here, and then here they'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll go on all night.
Gotcha.
But then your dogs ain't worth hoot for another week or so because it takes them that long to get over it. Ain't no time in 10, 12 hours running, there's no telling how many miles they will put on.
Yeah. Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well.
I will tell you what my grandpa told me when he found out I went and got these July.
What's that?
I come home and told him that Grandpa got me some in July. He said, you fell on your head. Of course, back then they just thought they was a bunch of crossbred shepherds.
Yeah.
And then the female, she was already 2-year-old. She already run good. Got my pup started good. And was sitting at the far one night, and old Bingham, a German man that Grandpa hunted with, they hunted twice a week. I was away from the far listening, and Otho told Grandpa, he said, Rude, he said, I believe them July dogs going to work out all right for that boy. Grandpa said, Otho, I know that, but he said, man, I hate to have to tell him that. But he eventually did.
That's funny. Did you ever convert him, or did he keep running walkers?
Oh no, he was getting up in age that he was about done hunting with him, and he finally just got down to had one or two old dogs left.
Gotcha.
Then after gone once in a great while, he'd ask me to come get him to listen for a little while. He'd sit there a couple hours, and he was ready to go home.
Yeah.
Because he was in his mid-80s when that happened.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool.
But
So how old were you when you first started fox hunting then?
big enough to walk to the pickup, or big enough to talk Grandpa into taking me.
Gotcha.
I mean, I never did own my own dogs. I was probably 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
Because Dad told me, said, if you're going to have them, you got to feed them. So I had to figure out how to mow yard, haul hay, or whatever in order. Back then, hound dog feed about all you could find for $3 a bag. You know?
Can we get dog food prices like that back?
Oh, I'd love to. Love to. Back then, hound dog, bow wow, and blue ribbon was about it. And it was about anywhere from $2.85 to $3 a bag, and so I couldn't keep but 2 or 3 or 4 dogs, so I could keep
Yeah. How many do you keep now?
about 40.
Whoo-wee, 40.
Yeah, and that's not near as many as a lot of them keep.
You running dog guys love to keep a lot of hounds.
Right. Well, yeah, we do. I don't know if you was ever acquainted with Harlan Stoneside
Mm-mm.
in Oklahoma. He died here a few years ago, but he was a self-made millionaire, and you'd never know what to talk to him. As good a guy as you ever want to be around. I used to go out there a couple times a year. He lived in Oklahoma, and hunt with him. Like I said, treated me as good as anybody could ever be treated. At one time, I was out there, and he had 2 guys working full time for him to take care of his dogs. I
Dang.
asked him, I said, Stoney, I said, how many dogs do you think you got? He kind of looked at me and kind of grinned. He said, well, we quit counting at 400.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Dang.
And couldn't never go hunting with him what he didn't want to send 3 or 4 home.
No wonder.
But he spent a lot of time, effort, and money keeping the hunting right for the dog people.
Yeah.
And you notice it since he's gone.
Okay. That's a shame.
Yeah, he was, like I said, he was a self-made millionaire, and you'd never know he was any better than anybody else when you was around him.
Yeah.
And then Don Williams in Arkansas, he's older timer than I am. Him and Harlan was good buddies, and Harlan had bought the Gray Boy dog from Scott Lanham. At that time, give a record price for him, $7,500. Anyway, Don Williams told Harlan, he said, I got a couple of old females pretty fast. He said, I'd like to come running for Gray Boy. And Don had that southern slang, heavy. So anyway, Harlan said, well, come on out. Then Don told me, he said, I went out there, said, here come Gray Boy one and a coyote. And about 5 minutes later, here come my 2 real females, one and the same coyote. He said, you know what? They wasn't near as fast as I thought they were.
Yeah.
I get tickled listening to that stuff. But that, to me, you get around them old timers getting to listen to some of them old stories that tickles me too.
100%.
I can sit there and not say a word and just listen one story after another. Some of them you can't tell on here though.
Yeah. I understand that.
They'd sure get tickled at one of those. I'm trying to think. The July Hounds, of course, I think we've had some guys that have been awful careful with their breeding, and I think they're actually better dogs nowadays than they was when I started.
Okay.
They've got better feet bred on them. They're a little better looking dogs than they was, but I think Walker people, Goodman people, Trigg people, July people, all have bred more athletic ability in their dogs than they had 30 or 40 years ago.
Okay.
I think all of them have.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, one thing about it, if you got a July dog, you want to raise your litter pups, don't be surprised if any rainbow laying there in the bed when you go find them.
Yeah.
So they come in all colored, glass-eyed, whole bit. Now, I can tell you one thing: a coyote can't look at a glass-eyed dog.
Hmm.
If if they happen to have one bayed up or something like that, and you get there, if you watch, you have to really pay attention and notice. If a coyote ever looks at a dog with a glass eye, he'll turn his head and never look at him again.
Interesting. Wonder why
I
that
don't know.
is.
I don't know. Of course, there's people can't look at a glass-eyed dog either. Whitey can't keep a glass-eyed dog. He said it gives him the chills to look at one.
I'm not a big fan of them either.
They don't bother me at all. But Whitey said I can look at a glass-eyed dog and say I just get to really.
I just think they're ugly.
Well, he does too, you know. But now in your leopard dogs, you'll have some of them too, won't you?
Yeah. They're not super common, but we do get them every now and again.
Okay, I was gonna say a lot of times if you're glass-eyed in the July dogs, I don't know about your leopards. You know, I've been around a little bit, but don't know much about them. But in your July dogs, your glass eyes is common with the leopard dog.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, where the blue leopard ever started from, I don't know. It's been there as long as I've been around.
Yeah.
And we'll probably never know because probably whoever put it there is dead and gone and ain't talking.
Probably.
Of course, you know, all of our hounds started from the Sparteen hounds that the Spaniards brought over here. You know, even your leopard dogs, I'm sure will go back to them.
Who knows? I mean, there's so many different things that have went into all these different breeds. Even, you know, the plots try to say that they're pure and whatever, and I'm like, I'm sorry, 100 years ago, people weren't doing, you know, what people didn't pen dogs up like they do today. So stuff got bred randomly a lot. So
right.
I'd have a hard time really believing, I don't know, that everything isn't crossed up if you go back far enough.
Right. If I was going to say anything was purebred, I would probably have to say the English foxhound would come nearer than anything.
Probably.
Because, you know, they kind of kept that away.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've enjoyed my July dogs. I take a lot of ribbon of them, but I can give it back too.
Well, good.
People said stuff about them. I said, hey, I've had them 50 years. You're probably not going to say anything I ain't already heard twice.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do is just grin and bear it and shoot it right back at them.
There you go.
You know, I like to pick and have fun, and don't mean to make nobody mad. I have a few times, but don't mean to.
Mm-hmm.
But I figure if they can dish it out, they should be able to take it.
100%.
I don't know. I just, you know, I fell in love with the first Julys I got. I've kept them for 50 years, and you know, I'll probably have some the rest of my life.
Yeah. No, I think it's really cool the history you have with the breed, and I think it's really cool that you have actual descendants of the first dogs you ever got. You know, it takes a lot of work.
Back to you. Or it should be 25 generations back, probably.
Oh yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Just like right now, I had a female I call Linda that when she's 4 years old, you know, Whitey does a lot more promoting and going to hunts and stuff like that. So I told him, I said, you need to take her and raise pups. He did. He said, how long do I get to keep her? I said, as long as you want to. Well, he kept her. She died and she's almost 12 years old. I never did get her back. But right now, I've got pups out of her. Whitey's got pups out of her. Both of us got grand pups, great grand pups, and great grand pups that still go back to her.
Yeah.
It's kind of satisfying to look back at pedigree and see where you had success back for 10, 12, 15 generations.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to me, it feels better to me for me to raise one starting. And if he does some winning, you're just proud of him.
Yep.
You're just proud of him. But shoot, when I first started, stud fee on most of your stud dogs was $15.
Dang. How times have changed.
Oh yeah, and you can buy a pretty nice pup for $25.
Yeah.
Now you're talking $500-600 for a pup.
Yeah.
You know, you want $250 up for stud food.
Yeah, but like we said, dog food. You said dog food used to be $3 a bag.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's 45.
Exactly. So.
But I think their dog food nowadays is better than what I was feeding when I was kidding.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
You know, and there's several good types of dog feed out there. I'm not going to recommend one over the other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's several good brands of dog feed out
Oh yeah.
there. Another thing that I've always went by, and most of my buddies do, and I think you'll agree, you get out of a dog what you put into him.
Mm-hmm.
That includes care, feed, time spent with him.
Yep.
You know, the more time and effort you put in one, the better he's going to do for you.
100%.
Uh,
You know, you see a lot of people in they'll talk about, the best dog they ever had was their first one, and I think a lot of that becomes from the fact that when you get your first dog, you put a ton of time into it.
right. Wanting it to be something.
Yeah, because it's the only dog you have, and then
Right.
after that you get more dogs, you get stretched a little thinner,
Right.
and I'm
I
guilty
told
of it.
I got 40 dogs. I probably got 15 or 20 that actually run.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, some of them is some brood females. I raise my pups out of. Some of them is pups. But to me, if a dog has given me all he can give me up until the time he's old enough he can't give it no more, I can't get rid of him just because he got old.
Yeah.
If he's given me all he had to give me, he's got a place to stay the
Yep.
rest of his life.
Yep.
I will not get rid of one or do away with one just because he got old. You know, they can't help that.
Mm-mm. Not at
I've
all.
got 5 or 6 of them down here. Matter of fact, I got one I call my yard dog out here. He's 13 years old. He's just lay around and do whatever he wants to, whenever he wants to. You know, I feel like once they get that up there like that, they've earned it.
Yeah, for sure. Retire and live the good life.
Right. Shoot, I don't want my kids knocking me in the head just because I can't do what I used to do.
Yep. So how much longer you think you're gonna be running these dogs? Another 30 years?
So I better don't live that. I would like to be able to still do it because I mean there's just something about hearing half dozen dogs pop over the mountain and run in the daylight out something.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about it, you know.
Yeah.
Now
No, I agree with you.
there's one old man I used to get tickled at when we was fox hunting at nighttime. The closer the dogs would get to you, the closer he'd scoot to the edge of his chair. And he's going to fall out of that chair, and he would be right up, couldn't be sitting on a half inch edge of that chair. And you think he's going to crash, As soon as they'd turn and start away from him, he'd slide back in the chair. But as soon as they started coming, he'd go getting closer and closer and closer to that chair. I guess trying to get closer to the dog. You see stuff like that some old guys do.
Yeah.
And then the first time, I had a buddy. He's dead now, Terry Warren. First time I ever went to a fox pen. And he called me and said, let's go to fox pen. I said, I ain't never heard no such. He said, oh, yeah, there's a man down on the mountain, got 500 acres fenced in, got full of Minnesota red fox. He said, $5 a dog. I said, let's go. I took 6, and he took 6. And the only place them dogs ever been run just out in the wild.
Yeah.
And boy, it was just solid roar till we got them caught the next morning. And got home, and a couple of days later, Terry called me and said, well, what do you think about this fox fence? I don't think I like it. I'm not too sure I ain't killed everything I've got. I said, I got 2 dogs that still ain't come out of their houses to eat yet. All they was beat up. I told him, I said, I don't know if I'm going to like this fox fence stuff or not. But we got to liking it.
Yeah. What do you think the
I
difference
guarantee.
is from running on the outside versus inside?
Well, on the inside, if you go to fox pen, it's got lots of game. It's consistently wide open running all night.
Okay, that makes sense.
Outside, you're going to lose. They're going to hunt for it. Sometimes they can't get up on it as good, and they can't run it as hard. There's just more exertion. They just beat themselves up for it.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense now that you explain that. Yeah.
And like I said, I would love somebody to come up with a little camera that you could mount on the top of the dog's collar and see what he goes through in a night.
Yeah.
It'd probably blow your mind how bad they abuse us.
I know some guys that have tried and lost some cameras.
Yeah, or beat it all to pieces.
Yep.
But I said I just enjoy it. If I got another 20 years left, I hope I got another 20 left.
Well, I hope you do too. And I've enjoyed talking to you and listening to a little bit about the Julys.
Okay,
I'd love to see some go one day.
Like I said, if you never make it to Missouri, we'll sure put you up and show you what we got going on down
there. Well, I appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. Then you get to associate with a bunch of hillbillies.
That's all right.
And I guarantee you're going to get tickled at some of them before it's over.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Your dogs, it's a family-oriented sport.
Yeah.
We have a youth hunt down there every year.
Mm-hmm.
7 years and under. Kids come and run their dogs. And you never seen kids run and play and have as much fun in your life. Might be 75 or 100 of them. Right? And to me, that's my favorite hunt of the whole year.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. And I'm a sucker for a kid. If somebody comes around and they're looking to get into the run dog business, if they've got a kid with them, I would rather give that kid a pretty good dog than sell somebody one that I think they ain't going to take care of.
Yeah.
I've always had a soft spot for a kid.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm right there with you. Kids are the next generation. Otherwise, you're not going to have, this isn't going to last.
Of course, I still remember being a kid and getting that first dog. I know what it meant to me.
Yeah.
And of course, it was my grandpa that gave me it, but they always, him and Oso, they hunted together all the time. They didn't keep but 4 to 6 dogs apiece. They got low on dogs that raised a litter of pups. Well, Grandpa had a female, had 5 pups. I left an odd pup. So Oso and Grandpa decided I was big enough to have one. That's the first one I ever got.
Okay.
And I've been ruined ever since.
There you go. The day a houndsman was born, huh?
It was. It was. And I had a pair of beagles before I got that.
Okay.
But my dad didn't get fox hunting. He drove a truck and was gone all the time.
Yeah.
So lots of times, Grandpa and Oso, one night a week, they'd hunt right behind where Mom and Dad lived at. I had a little horse. I'd saddle up and take back through the brush. Of course, I had to be home at certain times to go to school.
Yeah.
I'd go listen for a while, and then here I'd come back home.
That's pretty cool.
Nowadays, people wouldn't turn a 7 or 8-year-old kid loose and say take off 2 miles through the brush on a horse.
No.
You didn't think nothing about it back then.
Unfortunately, the world's a different place.
It is. It is. And where we live out here, I like to tell everybody we're probably 50 years behind, and I hope we don't never catch up.
Yeah. I wish I could say the same.
Where I live out here, I guarantee you half the houses you drive by is going to have a dog pen in the back end and behind the house. They're just,
yeah.
You can step outside most any night, drive around a little bit, and you can hear a dog running somewhere.
Nice.
So it's a hound oriented community.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Sounds like a great place to live.
I enjoyed talking to you. I wish I could talk you more.
No, this has been great. I've really enjoyed this.
Okay, me too. I'm glad I got to talk to you.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talking Media. And until next time, keep them talking in the timber.